Hey guys, welcome to another review, and here's my review for A Quiet Place Day One. Yes, this movie this movie stars Lupita Nyong'o, and she plays Lupita Nyong'o. Nyong'o, yeah, she plays this woman named Sammy, who has terminal cancer, and she's on hospice now. She has to learn. She's living in New York in this film, but now she has to and now it's about the Day One. It's a prequel to the Quiet Place movies. The first two Quiet Place movies. It's a prequel. It's Day One, and it's set in New York City. It's basically a spin-off and a prequel. It's a spin-off and a prequel to the first two, and it's in New York City. And yeah, that's the plot to this movie. And I thought this would be interesting because the first two were not in New York, and so I thought it would be interesting to see a Quiet Place movie that was set in New York. And I had no idea what to expect from this movie. I didn't know for sure if it was a prequel. I thought it was like in a different. I thought it was like in the same universe, but just in a different town with different characters. But no, it is, but it's a prequel. And so I didn't know what to expect. And I haven't seen the Quiet Place movies in a while. I haven't seen them in years. I've seen the first one twice. I remember I saw the second one when it came out. I haven't seen them that much, and I haven't seen them in a long time. I should rewatch them again now that I saw this movie. Now that I saw Day One, I should probably rewatch the first two. Now the fact that, and especially the fact that the third one's coming out next year. There's going to be a Quiet Place Part 3, which looks great. I'm pretty excited to see that one. And so, yeah, this movie was enjoyable, actually. It had, the first two are more suspenseful. This one felt like it had more action in it. And it did have, this one did have some action in it. Not just suspense and horror. It did have some action in it. And I liked the action scenes. And it is pretty good, actually. Prequel I didn't think we really needed, because the first two, I understood them just fine. But I actually did enjoy this movie quite a bit. I was thinking about when I saw this out, I was like, wait a minute, is this part 3? Because none of the characters are from the first two. So yeah, it is a prequel. And it's actually, and it's fresh on my mind because now I can watch the first two again, because I haven't seen the first two in a while. And I saw them years ago, and I should rewatch them again, because I remember loving the first two. They were both really great. And yeah, I love the first two Quiet Place movies. I remember putting them in my top 20 favorite horror movies. And they're great. One of the best modern horror movies. They're really great. They were almost a bit like a metaphor of COVID a bit, because, the first one was set in 2020, and they were in a quiet town where all these monsters were coming out. Basically like a metaphor of COVID. And so, yeah, since the first one was set in 2020. I don't know what year this one's set in, but I know it is a prequel to the first two. And I think this one is either set in 2019 or 2020. I don't know exactly, but yeah, this movie was enjoyable. I really did have a good time with this movie. If you haven't even seen the first two Quiet Place movies, I'd honestly recommend watching this and then watching the first two. It's really great. This movie was enjoyable, and I cannot wait. I am excited to see A Quiet Place Part 3 next year. It comes out next year, and it does look like a good movie. It does look really good, and yeah, this movie, I did have a good time with it. I was a little confused at the beginning, and I didn't know. So yeah, Sammy in this movie, she has a terminal cancer, and so she is dying, but she has to learn how to accept that, and she's also trying to survive all these aliens coming down that's attacking New York, and so, yeah, I I remember when I saw the first two Quiet Place movies. I remember liking the second one a bit more, but now looking back at it, I think I like the first one more because it had more suspense. This one, A Quiet Place Day One, is a good movie. It's not quite as good as the sequels, Part 1 and Part 2, but this one is still a good time. I did enjoy this movie a lot. It had some good action scenes, some good acting, and some really good action as well. Some good action and suspense, and it did have a lot of suspenseful scenes and a lot of jump scares. If you are sensitive to jump scares, then this movie will get you a lot. And I did jump scare in a few scenes as well. Like, oh god, I did get jump scared by a few scenes in this movie, and yeah. It probably has the most jump scares out of the Quiet Place movies. Well, actually, I'm not too sure about that. I remember the first one had a lot of jump scares, but but they all have had pretty big jump scares. And so, yeah, just be prepared for jump scares when you go in to see this movie, because there are a lot of jump scares. And but the effects in this movie are also really great as well. The horror, the suspense, the action, the acting, and the suspense and the plot is great. And it is unique. It is interesting because I do like the fact that we see a horror movie that's set in New York. Because normally I see a lot of action movies that are set in New York, and a lot of comedies. But I like the fact that I saw a horror movie that was set in New York. And yeah, I did have a really great time with this movie. I didn't love this movie, but I thought it was good. It wasn't as good as A Quiet Place Part 1 and Part 2, but it was still a fun movie. If you're not a big horror fan, I would say you might still like this movie. It's good. You might still like it. If you're not a horror fan but do watch horror movies from time to time, you might like this. Yeah, it's a good movie. I will recommend it. So, yeah. I'm going to give A Quiet Place Day 1. I was about to say Part 1. No, I'm going to give A Quiet Place Day 1 a B. Yeah. So, yeah. That was my review for A Quiet Place Day 1. So, yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this review? Or what's your favorite Quiet Place movie? Out of all the Quiet Place movies, between A Quiet Place Part 2, and A Quiet Place Day 1? What's your favorite Quiet Place movie? And are you looking forward to A Quiet Place Part 3? Yeah, just let me know down in the comment section below. Comment below, let me know. And if you like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like. Alright.